You know, in the past few weeks, it's felt like every AAA game has had some kind of microtransaction model in it. Shadow of War and Star Wars Battlefront 2 are two of the biggest offenders of the moment, and the community has lashed out against them in particular. And the main concern is an argument that we put forward in a video a couple of weeks ago, and that's that loot boxes are basically a form of gambling, and that's a form of gambling that targets kids. The conversation around this has now gotten to the point that we have a parliamentary petition about this here in the UK, and there's even been a response from the US rating board, the ESRB.
Recently, the gaming community has been expressing their distaste for randomized loot boxes being forced into video games. A key complaint is that these loot boxes are often implemented at the expense of gameplay. Shadow of War's endgame becomes a tedious grind if you don't buy loot boxes, and Battlefront 2's loot boxes give players an advantage with gameplay-altering star cards. Battlefront 2's system is so integrated that you can't play the game without them. That's literally the only way you progress in multiplayer. Loot boxes. That's Shadow of War and Star Wars Battlefront 2, the full-priced AAA games that cost full price. And the randomized nature of these loot boxes, which can be bought with real money for God knows what reward, led some critics, like us, to point out that it amounts to gambling. All the outrage has not gone unheard, and respected games journalist Jason Schreier decided to ask the ESRB about it. I like the way in the script it's like titled capital R, respected, capital G, gays, capital J's. Even enough respect to have like that capitalized title in our scripts. That's respect.
I love that like a lot of people who watch it will not even get that that is like a little inside joke here. They just think that we think he's a respected games journalist. The Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB for short, are the regulatory body for video games in the United States. They give games an age rating based on their content, and whilst their ratings aren't legally enforceable, they are regularly used to advise customers about a game's content. Schreier emailed the ESRB to ask their opinion on loot boxes in games and whether or not they should be considered gambling. But the ESRB said they don't consider loot boxes to be gambling because players will always receive something of monetary value. An ESRB spokesperson said, quote, "While there's an element of chance in these mechanics, the player is always guaranteed to receive in-game content, even if the player unfortunately receives something they don't want. We think of it as a similar principle to collectible card games. Sometimes you'll open a pack and get a brand new holographic card you've had your eye on for a while, but other times you'll end up with a pack of cards you already have."
The ESRB have two distinct categories for gambling: real gambling and simulated gambling. If a game featured real gambling, then it would mean a game has wagers involving real cash, and the game would be given an adults-only rating. Adults-only rated games are considered a no-go area for big publishers because the majority of US retailers refuse to stock adult-only rated games. But simulated gambling is perfectly okay in the ESRB's opinion because players can gamble without betting or wagering real cash or currency. The spokesperson also pointed out that they do add a digital purchases tag on all games which feature microtransactions. So this was Jason Schreier asking the ESRB, is this gambling or not? By their definition, ESRB said no, this isn't gambling because you receive a reward for every single purchase. So alright, we get it, it's not gambling by your definition, but does that mean it's not harmful for kids, for instance? Is it not harmful, like psychological, lasting harmful effects on kids, whether it's termed gambling or not by your definition? Surely that doesn't negate the potential harmful effects.
It's interesting that it doesn't kind of qualify for the legal definition of gambling because you do definitely get something. But the question I've got is that, do you really get something? Because it's always digital. How definable is that as a thing that exists? I mean, it's the problem with the law in general at the moment. Things with copyright and things like that especially, is that it can't quite keep up with the definitions for things and what to do with everything that's happening on the internet and video games and things like that. And yet they can apply, you know, gambling logic to it in a casino or, you know, real life gambling. So it's quite a complicated picture, and I think that the fact that it doesn't qualify is quite interesting as gambling, because I really think it does qualify.
It's like opening up in a casino and offering like the smallest reward for every single bet. About $100, you might get like a Mars bar. Let's give them a Mars bar as a loser's reward. You got a Mars bar, it's not gambling, but it's, yes it is. These new microtransactions and the way that they're implemented in our games right now is completely different to how they were implemented before, and they're implemented in such an invasive way now. You literally can't play Battlefront 2 without being exposed to these loot boxes.
Yeah.
They haven't assessed that game on its potential harmful effects and lasting like addictiveness. They're not addressing that at all. They're not assessing the games based on the new systems that are in place.
If it's not legally gambling, if you accept that and okay, it's not legally gambling, they still employ all of the persuasive and manipulative tactics of gambling to make you want to buy these things. Everything around gambling is still there in the game, but the end result is you might get a nice flipping, you know, legendary item or whatever. Definitely. In the ESRB's eyes, it doesn't matter because you've still got a legendary something. You just didn't get the legendary something that you wanted. It's a difficult one. It really is a complicated picture, and I think this is a conversation that's going to go on for a while yet.
It's like psychological warfare. If you're a parent and you've ever gone to the supermarket with your kids, they stick all those nice little sweets by the checkout so that kids are like, Daddy, you can have one of these, Daddy. It's the same when you're going through an airport. You get funneled through a shop before you even get to your gate. The same when you come out of a roller coaster at the end of a theme park. You always have to get funneled through a shop. Like, they've got no choice. This is psychological warfare. They give you all these pretty things that you can buy to potentially sell you things. And it's the same with Shadow of War, where they give you like a free loot box, but they funnel you into the store. So you have to go to the store, you have to get exposed to all the things that you could possibly buy to get your free shit at the end of it.
But the ESRB is fine with it. It's not gambling.
You should know that the ESRB are the certification body in the US, right? But in Europe, it's called PEGI, the Pan-European Games Information Certification. So I personally, like on the back of what Jason Schreier's done here, I've emailed and contacted PEGI and asked them for a response as to what they think about loot boxes in games, and whether it's gambling or not. I have asked them whether they think that these loot boxes have a lasting harmful effect potentially on young children gamers.
Respected games journalist Gareth Evans.
Thanks for that, mate. Any updates that we get from that, you know, check me out on Twitter. No.
You look.
Don't. No.
Look at him.
Any updates to that effect, we will let you know in a future video. You can also check me out on Twitter. At Pretty Good Guys, that's all I'm saying.
And talking of psychological warfare, let's take a look at some of your comments.
There was a comment yesterday, I think, with, why do you always clickbait your titles? I'm sick of this channel. Because you clicked on it.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, we wouldn't use it. That's the f***ing point.
I don't want it. I hate clickbait. I f***ing hate clickbait, right? You've got to do it. If you want to survive as a business on the internet, you've got to get people to click on your stuff. If you're not charging them money for it, it's just the only way to do it. So
deal with it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or don't click on it, and then we will change our ways because it won't be working, and we'll try something else.
That's the point.
First up this week, commenting on new Overwatch project in development. Dewa Eriadi says, by the way, can you guys stop using Overwatch trailer footage?
Jake's response to this is, send us your footage then. Like this, if it's not good enough for you, send us your footage. No, realistically, really, honestly, send us your footage, we'll use it.
Cool, this is your chance. Send me your Overwatch footage. I'll put it in the videos.
No hands.
It could be featured in one of our videos.
No hands or mains though. We're sick. Never even played Overwatch. I don't even know what that means. Next up on Steam is how big now? Zoddo comments, tune it down with the puns, please. They take up 35% of the video already.
I don't remember writing that, but...
Yeah, that was Mike's alternate account. We realised that video was like completely geared around the comedy and the puns, or the attempted comedy and the puns that were in that. We didn't anticipate it'd go so big. It was completely pun intentional.
Now, he's done it again. Just when you think he was being serious, he does it again, doesn't he? He's done it again.
I mean,
you sound like a comic book villain. He's done it again. Damn you, Evans. And commenting on the big problem with Star Wars Battlefront 2's loot boxes, EA Electronic Arts says, you're getting free DLC, quit your bitching. I don't know if that's the official line from you there, EA Electronic Arts, but thanks for stopping by. Big fan of some of your older work.
Ooh. Next up, Xbox surprised and impressed by PS4 Pro. Mafio USBJ comments, Gareth, your goatee and eyebrows make you look like a Gazzy mom from Digimon, including the perpetually angry look. Google it and be amazed.
I did Google it.
I Googled it too.
He's got a point.
I'm amazed. Striking resemblance, guys. Striking.
The angry thing is the lights, I'm pretty sure, because we're both kind of doing this a lot more in the videos than we do in real life. And the only big change I can see is there's three big lights like shining in our faces. So sorry for scowling all the time. We're not like that angry. Just, you know, professionals.
Thanks, Mike. I knew you had my back.
So there you go, that's another video about loot boxes, sorry about that. But what do you think about the ESRB's judgment? Are they right? Is it not gambling? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. Another video right there which you can watch right now. And of course, a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.